In the coming weeks and months, the phrase Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, the rebranding of the old loaded term UFO, is going to enter the popular lexicon as Congress begins a series of unprecedented public hearings on the topic. Let's check this together.
Section 51.
Hi everyone, welcome on Section 51. This is DOZgeek and you are watching UFO Section 51 on YouTube. I hope you're well, that everything is okay for you. It's always nice to see you come back to the channel. And this is summertime, but this is always the time to talk about UFOs, about extraterrestrial life and the potential existence or the potential presence of aliens or extraterrestrial beings on Earth. That's why today we are going to discover together a new article about this topic, about the possibility, the incoming possibility that we make contact one day in a very close future with some aliens, with some of the beings that used to visit our planet on a constant basis in order to study us or maybe to make experiments on some of us, on the bodies, or maybe to just make some work of cooperation in the secrecy with some of our elites. So let's see this together. Now, we are about to find out what we really know about UFOs. Nothing will ever be the same again. As you can see, you can recognize the Vulcan salute on the picture. It's always reminiscent. It always comes back. That's a big reference, the Vulcan salute. And as a big fan of Star Trek, that's why I always use this salute at the end of my videos. I am a big fan of Mr. Spock. In the coming weeks and months, the phrase Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, the rebranding of the old loaded term UFO, is going to enter the popular lexicon as Congress begins a series of unprecedented public hearings on the topic. Unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, are a mainstay of pop culture, but have long been considered fringe by both scientists and the media. There have been groups of people who believe that the government and various corporations are in possession of alien technology and bodies since July 1947, or in some cases even earlier, when it was claimed that a flying saucer of extraterrestrial origin crashed in the small desert town of Roswell, New Mexico, and UFOs found their way back into the mainstream spotlight in 2017 when the New York Times reported on the existence of a clandestine Pentagon program dedicated to investigating aircraft that seemed to move at very high velocities with no visible signs of propulsion or that hovered with no apparent means of lift. No, thank you for the ads, but no ads. 6 years later, two of the journalists who worked on that report for the Times, Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal, published an article in The Debrief in which a former intelligence official named David Grush claimed that the government and various aerospace companies, possessed objects of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, including not just aircraft or seacraft in some cases, but bodies of the creatures that piloted those vehicles. Grush has already testified before Congress in closed-door sessions and will join others in the public testimony that has been scheduled in the House of Representatives for July 26. So, in the few days, not tomorrow, but after tomorrow. Despite the fact that UFOs have been in popular culture for decades, there is something about this moment that feels categorically different. After Keane and Blumenthal's initial report, we are no longer in tinfoil hat territory. There is no music from the X-Files or clips from Independence Day playing in the newscasts. This time, we have a high-ranking former intelligence official claiming that much of what the fringiest conspiracy theorists have long claimed regarding UFOs might have the tinge of truth about it. And Capitol Hill is taking his claims seriously. The desire to investigate UFOs, UAPs, is a rare example of bipartisan consensus in Washington. Most stunningly, in July, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, along with Republican Senator Mike Rounds, proposed an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act titled the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Disclosure Act of 2023. The proposal is being supported by Republican Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Democratic New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand, who have emerged as advocates for disclosure around UFOs and UAPs. And once again, we meet Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Kristen Gillibrand, who are used with this topic now. Hopefully, we have these people working for the UFO community, for the UFO believers community, in order to make all these subjects, all these topics come to the light in the Congress. Among other things, the proposed amendment requires both government offices and private industry members that are in possession of records or materials related to UAPs to turn them over to a 9-person commission to be appointed by President Biden with the eventual goal of declassification. Name-checking former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's interest in the subject, Senator Schumer said that for decades, many Americans have been fascinated by objects mysterious and unexplained. The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. As the astronomer Carl Sagan famously said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Without the receipts, Grush's assertions are only that assertions. As to what House testimony or Schumer's legislation might reveal, it's fair to remain totally agnostic. It might turn out that the truth about UFOs, UAPs is somewhere between Chinese spy balloons and time-traveling aliens. It might turn out that there is nothing there at all. But the fact that the Senate's website now features legislation which contains the phrase non-human intelligence is shocking. You can't deny that we are in unprecedented and frankly surreal territory. But this isn't completely unfamiliar territory. The moment of first contact between humans and extraterrestrials has been extensively imagined in science fiction and in entertainment, and of course among UFO enthusiasts who claim such events have already occurred. Central to the depiction of an auspicious meeting between two radically different cultures or species is the sense of mass disorientation, collective anxiety, and ontological shock, a term coined by philosopher and theologian Paul Tillich to describe what happens when one's entire sense of reality is disrupted. And we are very close to that kind of disruption, I think. And maybe we are already in some kind of disruption with the artificial intelligence. Because for 5 or 6 months now, AI is making some massive disruption in our society and in our way of working, in our economics, and on different topics in our life, in our society. We are living now, I think, a time of disruption at different levels. And why not a disruption at one moment caused by that possible contact with an extraterrestrial species? Astronomer Fred Hoy's brilliant 1957 novel The Black Cloud envisions how radically different life could have evolved, positing the existence of a sentient interstellar gas cloud whose motivations are misinterpreted as malevolent until scientists are able to bridge what appear to be inconceivable barriers to communication. Ted Chiang's 1998 novella Story of Your Life, adapted into the 2016 film Arrival, dramatizes a linguist's attempts to translate language from alien beings who don't share our culture or biology. You can watch this movie Arrival. It's very nice movie, a very good movie, directed by Denis Villeneuve. That's right, that its approach in the movie is very original because it takes into account the ability to communicate, to speak the same language with an extraterrestrial species, and all the difficulties that we may encounter in that process. How is it possible to be understood and to communicate, to transmit a message to another species that doesn't have the same culture and the same codes that we have here on our planet? But maybe if that species is on Earth for longer than us, maybe it has already all the codes to translate when we speak and to understand what we mean, to understand all our messages. Then there is the iconic scene from the aptly named 1996 film Star Trek First Contact, in which the time-traveling crew of the USS Enterprise is privy to the historic summit between the inventor of warp drive, Zephram Cochrane, and a group of Vulcans in the year 2063. Oppenheimer is a mind-blowing movie. Did you watch the movie Oppenheimer in theater? I read a lot of negative critics about the movie. Let's continue. All of these narratives have one thing in common: an understanding that if we discover the existence of intelligent alien life, nothing will ever be the same again. That's for sure, yes. Nothing will ever be the same again. There is no way of return. In the past, at that point, we reach the point of no return. As Sagan wrote in his 1985 novel Contact, an awareness of extraterrestrial life would serve to inculcate the power of the planetary perspective. It would, as Sagan told Studs Terkel in 1985, deprovincialize humanity. In other words, we would experience ontological shock, so the so-called disruption. This ontological shock would be different from mere discovery or inventors. It's not even synonymous with what the philosopher Thomas Kuhn called a paradigm shift, when scientific consensus is amended by some revolutionary new theory. Rather, it's an apocalypse, in the sense of the word's original Greek meaning of unveiling, whereby the true nature of reality is radically altered. In light of the reporting in the debrief and the steps towards disclosure being taken in Washington, it's reasonable to say we should prepare ourselves for the possibility of that very experience. So that was a very interesting article, I think. So guys, if you understood well, please make that work. That's a personal work we have, every one of us, we have to do. We have to be prepared, mentally prepared. So let's start. I propose you to start now to make that work, that psychological work, to think about all these possibilities, about that potential meeting, that potential encounter one day, because it's better to be prepared when an event arrives, rather than not to be prepared, and it's never good to react when you are surprised, because you have always a delay time, a time of a late when in your reaction, and when you have a delay in your reaction, you always lose the control of the situation. So we have to be prepared mentally, psychologically about that possibility, about the fact that one day in the future, in a very close future, I'm convinced that we are getting closer and closer to this date, we will have the possibility to make this encounter. One day, these aliens, these beings, will make the decision to reveal themselves to us. And I don't know if it will be in positive or on the negative side for us, but however, we have to be prepared, because that's the only way. We have to anticipate this, because this is the only way we can be ready, a minimum ready, in order to have the good reactions and not to fall into the panic. Because if we fall into the panic, we are already losers in the situation. And if we lose in that connection, in that meeting, in this confrontation with these beings, if we lose, we always we lose the initiative. If we lose the possibility of the initiative, we are potential slaves for them, and this is not good news for us, sincerely. So guys, what do you think of all that? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with this article? When the encounter happens, nothing will ever be the same again. When do you think it will happen? And do you think that all these hearings, all these debates in the Congress, in the US Congress, will influence the date or will trigger at one moment this big reveal, this big disclosure, and force these alien beings to make the big reveal to the humans? Is it connected, or is it totally independent? And for many years, for several years now, aliens are laughing at us because they are just watching us, all the bullshit we are doing on Earth, and that's them who really decide the moment when they want to appear to us. And of course, at that time, it will be too late for us. But I don't really know, but I think that it will happen. Of course, at one moment or another, it will happen. But the surprise or the uncertainty, what we don't know is if we will be able to control the situation or not. And I think that there is a lot of chances, I would say maybe 70 or 80%, that we totally lose control. Whatever we do, there is a lot of chances that we lose control and that we will be largely surpassed by these alien beings who have certainly more advanced technology than us. So guys, thank you for watching. Please, if you liked this video, if you liked the content, I invite you to like this video, to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are not already a subscriber. Of course, I read all of your comments. It's always a pleasure to read your comments. Tomorrow, a new video, of course, and maybe next Wednesday, I will try to do a live stream with you on another topic. And this is the end of this video. I send you big kisses. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, for your positive energy. And don't forget to keep watching at the sky. You don't know. Everything can happen. And of course, live long and prosper.